One of the biggest things that we have been talking about with XDC is simply market exposure. It is very hard to buy XDC other than utilizing something like Uphold, for an example. Most US investors don't have a lot of exposure to XDC, and this is simply because of where we could actually get XDC. But the crazy thing is that over the last couple of weeks, we have been talking about how the markets are opening up for XDC. As you guys can see, there's a few great exchanges that have XDC listed, but to get access to this in the US, it's challenging. But this is what the last 7 days looks like for XDC. We're starting to break out a little bit. We're starting to be up, 5% in the last 7 days, which might not seem like a lot, but we're back to 10 cents. In the last 1 month, we're up about almost 70%. So I'm actually going to talk about this here in a moment, and I'm actually going to address this as well because, for the most part over the last couple weeks, I've been saying that XDC is going to surprise a lot of people this cycle. And even when we look at the 1 month or the 1 year, here on the chart, this setup looks very bullish. So let's dive on into the price chart. Let's actually look at this. So this is what the price chart looks like real quick on the 1 week. We did break out of that downtrend. We were talking about this. I believe it was actually on the 3-day that we were looking at this. Yeah, it was on the 3-day that we were looking at this. And, we broke out of the downtrend. We kept tapping this lower trend line. We tapped it again in the, towards the end of June. And then we start to have that solid uptrend form. We broke out of the upper trend line. We took out all of the highs from April. And then we just continued to skyrocket. And then we hit the high level from February of this year. And this is that higher time frame resistance level, the red zone that, we have on a few altcoin charts right now that we've been watching because typically these price charts do respect that level and we typically see a sell-off from it. We already saw the sell-off on XDC. We almost tapped the previous highs perfectly. We did find support on the 3-day right around the same level that we found support on back here in January, right before we skyrocketed to 16 cents. Now, if we take a quick look at the 1 week, and if I just clear up the chart real quick, what do we see on this chart right now on the 1 week? We see a bull flag formation on XDC, and this is typically where we really want to watch for a big break above the resistance levels. We are about 4 days and 20 some hours away from us having a clear move on this chart that could potentially close out the week above all of this resistance, which would put us on a path to retesting 12.5 cents and potentially even retesting the wick at about 16 cents almost. Now, I'm recording this a little bit ahead of time. Price action and price data towards the end of this week will be crucial to watch on XDC, but for the most part, XDC looks very, very good here. And I think that this is probably one of the most bullish altcoins in this market right now because of how overlooked it is at a time where, not a lot of people are actually paying attention to what XDC has been doing over just the last couple months. Now, let's talk about exchanges because, when we think about XDC, and let me actually just open this up in a new tab and let's compare markets right now. So, XDC does have Bybit, right? Bybit's the second largest crypto exchange out there. It's a very large exchange. But what about Binance, right? Mainly, what about Binance US? Because Binance US is down here at number 23. It's not a massive exchange compared to like Binance itself. But if we get listed on Binance US, typically that means that Binance is not too far away. Binance is one of the exchanges that XDC could get listed on. Coinbase could also list XDC. Upbit, I think Upbit could also list it. Yeah, we don't have an Upbit listing at all. So there's 3 out of the top 5 exchanges that could easily list XDC. OKX is another one as well that could list XDC. I mean, the listing opportunities here for XDC is just insane. Now, I'm bringing this up because over the last couple weeks, we have been witnessing more and more listings of XDC. It started with Coin1 on July 23rd. Again, very small exchange, nothing too crazy, 30,000 followers. I don't even know. Let me see if I could find Coin1 real quick. So I can't even find Coin1 on the list. Let me actually try to see if Coin1 even comes up under the exchanges. So there we have it, number 98. It's a very small time exchange, nothing too significant here about Coin1. which is why, we're really kind of looking at other exchange listings. Obviously, more exposure to XDC is good, means more liquidity, and then also the ETP. So the XDC ETP from 21 shares, this is also a little bit more exposure to XDC. It helps for sure. But, we want to see more large exchange listings. We want retail to be able to flood into XDC, especially once the real moves actually happen, because that's when FOMO kicks in. That's usually when the largest moves on the chart actually happen. So we want to get more exposure to XDC during that time. So then we look at XT Exchange. Again, this is not a small time exchange, almost 500,000 followers. XT Exchange, I think, is a little bit higher on the list for sure. Let me see exchanges real quick. So xt.com, it's a top 30 exchange. This is not a small time exchange at all, considering the fact that they do have 24-hour trading volume in the billions of dollars, almost $2 billion. And if we actually go back to the exchange listings, let's go down to number 30 to see XT. So I thought XT was going to be here because it said top 30, but seems as though it's not. Let me try to find it real quick. So 1 second. So here we have xt.com. It's a top 20 exchange, actually. 2.7 million weekly visits, $2 billion. This is actually a pretty large exchange, and they did list XDC on the 23rd of June. Trading officially began on the 24th of June as well, and withdrawals were approved on the 25th as well. So again, this was another great listing for XDC. And then also, we got Kraken. So on July 29th, we have from XDC Network News, XDC to be listed on Kraken FX soon. Check the roadmap here. And if we actually look at it, T1 Exchanges listing XDC is XDC Wave upcoming. We can actually see here XDC on the bottom, integration of new blockchains and listing of the native token for trading as well. And if we think about Kraken, listen, Kraken is in the top 15. They have 1.2 million weekly visits and $1.5 billion almost in 24-hour trading volume. So this is a very large exchange that wants to list XDC. But again, it's not nearly as big as Binance. But also, we got an update from Assetera, which is a regulated EU trading platform that also integrated XDC and listed XDC on its platform. This was also another great update to, again, improve exposure to XDC. Unlocking more and more exposure to XDC is always great to see. But again, it's not a T1 exchange. I mean, Kraken definitely is up there. Some of these other exchanges like XT Exchange, for example, are up there. But what about Binance? Well, we officially got the news, and I know that I'm a little bit late to the party. I get it, guys, but the trading will officially begin today. Well, it already began today because it was at 4 a.m. PDT, 7 a.m. EDT, but we are now officially listed on Binance US. Now, this is on Binance US. Obviously, the US version of Binance is still pretty large, but we scroll down the list, Binance US is at number 23. XT.com is actually bigger than Binance US, only about 200,000 weekly visits. This is still good though, because it means that we will most likely get listed on Binance officially as well. Now, Binance is the big one. 9+ million weekly visits, trading volume in the 20s. I mean, $23 billion in 24-hour trading volume is crazy. But this is why we are focused on Binance. But the fact that we're now getting listed on Binance US is incredible to see. We have been focused on this for so long. One thing that I keep bringing up and I constantly talk about on this channel is how we will eventually get listed on these T1 exchanges. It's now officially happening. This is going to wake up the XDC market in a big way. I think a lot more eyes are actually on XDC at this point as well. And this is a very good time as well when we look at the price chart. I mean, guys, this setup is extremely bullish for XDC. I'm still waiting for us to clear some of these highs, because the second that we break over those 2025 highs, aka the January highs, that all-time high back in 2021 is not too far off. I mean, listen, we got very close to it. We were from that high wick to a new all-time high less than 30% away. It was at 25, almost 26% away from a new all-time high. From our current level, we are about roughly 96% away. And I know that that sounds crazy to say, but when we think about that, that's also nothing compared to what we recently saw on XDC. I mean, this move was about 86% just from the low of June to our July high. So that could happen very fast, especially now that we have a lot more listing exposure. We're starting to see a lot more updates around XDC as well. So this is a very, very good start. Now, on top of this, what about ETFs? Well, big shout to Smoke Dog for this. We do have here Justin, XDC co-founder, confirms XDC ETF application will be filed with the SEC in the coming weeks. Watch. Check this out, guys.
Well, amazing testimony to the approach of XDC and certainly the company that you're keeping. So no wonder you're having such fine success. Ritesh, again, without giving away any secret sauce, can you share with us a bit about what's next? What's the roadmap looking like?
See, first of all, we are sitting on a very interesting time, and we are also excited about tech side. We did XDC 2.0, and it's become very stable. It's a very secure network now. Just recently, we launched ETP for XDC in European region with Euronext. 21 share is our issuers for ETP. And now the best part is we are going to apply for ETF for XDC.
Oh, wow. You hear that? I don't know if you're hearing it first, but hearing it early. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's a very exclusive one that we are going to launch ETF. So we are applying with SEC within a couple of weeks.
Wow. Congratulations. Oh, amazing.
And this is very good to see because I have been saying this even with XRP, because we obviously have been waiting for the XRP ETF as well. A lot of these altcoin ETFs will be fully passed through by the end of this year. So this is actually very good to see as well. This could be a huge catalyst for XDC. And it's showing us that there's a lot more weight behind XDC right now than ever before. I've talked about this even in response to the 2021 all-time high, right? If we think about how high XDC can go this cycle, it's extremely significant. We have a long journey in front of us when it comes to altcoins, because I've been saying that we've been in phase 2. We just recently started phase 2. We are in the beginning of this. This is where Ethereum starts to lead the way. But after this, altcoins start to really pick up some pace. We're watching XDC against Ethereum. This is the Ethereum chart for XDC. We're trading at those same levels back in, all the way back here in 2021. We're trading against this resistance. We could see it back in January of 2022, back here in June of 2022. We could see it when it broke out back in July of 2023. This is also when XDC went kind of crazy on the chart. If we go back real quick to July of 2023, here we have that nice move on XDC to almost 10 cents. Everyone was excited at that time, but guess what? We weren't in that bull run territory just yet. But we could also see it back here once we broke over that resistance in June of 2021 when we hit the all-time highs on XDC. So I'm watching as we really kind of trade in this macro uptrend from those lows of December, and I'm waiting for that big break to the upside where we just go crazy and we retest these highs back from April. We retest the highs back here from August of 2023, and then we finally retest the all-time highs. And during that time, XDC should be on a path to at least 25 cents, 30 cents, possibly even much higher. And I do think that XDC is going to be a big shocker this cycle, because a lot of people kind of just overlooked XDC at a time where we're starting to see the market really waking up to XDC. We're starting to see the exposure to it opening up in a huge way. We now have ETF applications possibly getting released here soon. And also, with the Binance US listing, I do think that a Binance listing is coming soon. And I just went over how many listings in the top 10 there could be for XDC. And I do think that we're going to start to see a lot more, listings from some of these top tier exchanges happen for XDC. You're going to be surprised. I think that a lot of people will be surprised by just how many listings there will be for XDC, in just the last couple months of this year. So definitely watch closely for XDC's market offering really opening up. I think that this is great, especially for those US investors that wanted to tap into XDC. Binance US is a great exchange for that. But overall, prepare for the XDC wave because it's coming. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.